Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and today it's time for the second in what will essentially be a 4-part review series all about Diamond Select's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles statues. So far, we've looked at the first one that was in the lineup, and that was Leonardo, the turtle in blue, but today we move on to his brother, and the second in this series, we're taking a look today at Raphael. We all know, of course, that Raphael is cool but rude, and this statue I feel like really encapsulates who this character is. There's a lot of really cool elements about this piece here that are kind of reminding me of a lot of different characters. I expect this to have the same amount of detail that the other one had with Leonardo, so yeah, very excited for this piece here. But before I get into that, let's just talk about this packaging. And much like all of the Diamond Select PVC statues out there, it follows the same formula. On the front, we have a great big window here that lets you see directly into the packaging. And likewise, on the left and the right sides, we have more giant windows of basically a similar size, as well as that classic Diamond Select sunroof on the top. So really, you're getting tons of different ways to check out the statue from all across here. But really, the most interesting part is actually the box art for once. Normally, the box art on Diamond Select statues is whatever. It's not really that interesting. But this time around, there's actually kind of some fun elements to this piece here. And that's how they're kind of acknowledging the many different versions of TMNT that have been done over the decades. On the front, the bottom left corner is going to always be designated for who the turtle is that they're going to be representing in the statue, but as you look across it, you'll see, like, here's more of a cartoonish version from like the early 2000s, I want to say, whereas on this side here, we have something that's more from like the classic 80s cartoon, and then underneath that, maybe something more akin to the current IDW comic book run. So a lot of variety and a lot of callbacks to different versions of these characters. The back of the box is exactly what you would expect here. It shows you guys the image of our character, along with a short bio about who Raphael is, which is very simple, but exactly right. It's perfect for what I'm looking for here. And really the most important information is who made this piece. And this was designed by David Forrest from Kinetic Underground Inc. and sculpted by Sandro Luis Sampao. Now, one very fascinating thing that is on the back of this box that was not on Leonardo is this right here. What we're looking at here is all 4 of the statues put together, meaning that these guys can actually essentially assemble themselves as a unit to become a 4-part statue, really looking like quite an amazing centerpiece. I can't wait to get all 4 of these guys to see how that's going to look, but yeah, that is a possibility that you now know we can do. I didn't know that coming into this review, but now I'm even more excited about getting these guys, and yeah, that's a look at the packaging here, and I'm already salivating at this guy, so I think it's time, without further ado, to go ahead and get our Raphael out of the box and take a closer look at him from all angles. And here is our Raphael out of the box, and full disclosure, Raphael was always my favorite turtle back in the day, so I'm going to be a little bit more biased about this piece, especially if I don't like it, but the good news is, it's just as good as Leo, and that makes me a very happy turtle fan. Raphael is a ninja turtle who loves what he does, and what he does isn't pretty. If you got that reference, you know exactly what I'm getting at here. Raphael is definitely the Wolverine of this group, and even his pose reflects that sentiment. I can easily imagine him with adamantium claws popping out of his raised fist with a pose that's hunched over and compact like Logan would be if he was in this battle. It's very different from Leo, who has clearly kept his composure while also being very intense, whereas Raphael is simply having a blast beating up some Foot Clan ninjas and just getting completely unhinged on them. There's rage on his face, but let's be clear though, it's not blind, foaming out of the mouth anger, it's directed and controlled. And the last thing I'd want to do is make eye contact with someone as focused as he looks. Just like Leonardo, Raphael's face harkens back to those original Playmates action figures too, in terms of his mouth being posed in a very extreme kind of way. But moving beyond his head, it's also that he has his own unique green skin color compared to his brothers too, just like we would have seen with the Playmates toys. There's so much texture on this Raphael, and really all the turtles we've seen so far and the ones we will see in the future. His skin is far from smooth, it's rough, along with his hard shell having dents and nicks in it on both his back and also on the front part of his body. His elbow pads have a unique feeling of their own too, as do the hand and ankle wraps, with those being much more rough. These particular pieces of clothing, or dressings, whatever you want to call them, along with his belt, help break up the very round, muscular body of Raphael. Now, when I say round, I mean the shape of his well-defined muscles, not like he's overweight. Raphael's muscular body is curvy in nature because of all the different biceps and deltoids and quads and all those things going on, all that vascularity, as Vince McMahon would say. So adding something that looks like a stripe, such as the elbow pads or the wraps, help to break up the verticality of the space on this piece, as well as that kind of round shape as well. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of repetition of the same thing, and you'll kind of get bored of it, but with all these other different things kind of cutting into the round parts of the pose and the shape itself, really breaks it up and makes it look more visually stimulating. Plus, Raphael is more savage looking with these dirty wraps, and that really works for his character. Worth pointing out here too that unlike Leonardo, Raphael does not have those tactical wrist gauntlets that Leo had. Raphael has his signature weapons in hand, literally in this case, the sai, and they look extra deadly on this statue. There's surprising levels of details on the handles and a wonderful shiny metallic look to the blade as well. He has similar detail on his belt and crossbody sash, which has a leather texture, one that looks quite aged, brass rings to hold up all these different accoutrements, and tiny pouches that very much remind me of the good old 90s when every superhero had to have pouches. Raphael's base is a New York City rooftop, just like Leonardo had. The difference is, Raphael's section has some crushed cans behind him, as well as a smashed up mouser in front of him. We're still telling that same story that we saw from Leonardo's statue previously, but now we're getting the continuation of it and seeing it from Raphael's perspective. The brick pattern on this rooftop diorama here is very realistic, and I really dig the color scheme. The red bricks help the green skin tones to pop and shine, and the gray helps tie together with his more mid-tone browns that go across his body with the knee pads and the belt and all those other things like the wraps. Brilliant design choices, as always. Need I say anything more about that? Now, I showed this off last time, but I have to point it out again here. These TMNT statues from Diamond have one extra cool bonus feature, which is that they can connect together to make one huge display. There are no interlocking pegs or anything like that when I say it interconnects, but what they do have is flat backs to allow you to line them up and create a square shape with their bases. Here's how Raphael and Leo look side by side, as we are now halfway through the set with both of these guys together. Coming up next is Donatello, and it's going to be great to see how he fits into this collection too. Speaking of, if you want to pick up this statue for yourself, check out our affiliate links in the description below. If you pick up this statue or any other turtles or really anything else using any of those links, it helps support this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. And while you're down there, go ahead and check out the comments and let me know what you think about this piece and whether or not you want to add this turtle to your collection. Overall, Raphael is another smashing success in this line, and I use the term smashing, I think, pretty appropriately here with Raphael because he looks like he's about to smash something. Just like Leonardo, there's the same attention to detail, same spectacular paint job, and all the same things that I liked about Leo, but again, now with the personality of Raphael. I mean it when I say I can't wait to see how this line is going to come together, because really having all four of these guys together is going to be something to behold. And while my wallet might hate me for it, well, I think I'm going to like me for it, so Diamond, keep bringing them on. So that's our look at Diamond Select's TMNT Raphael PVC figure diorama statue, the second now of 4 to complete the set. I'm Matthew, this has been Nerd News Today, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.